Good morning, everybody. So this morning we're going to be looking at a couple of verses in 2 Peter chapter 1. And if we go down to verse 5, it tells us that we need to, giving all diligence, add to our faith virtue, and to virtue self-control, and self-control patience, and to patience godliness, and to godliness brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness charity or love. And it actually mentions 8 different characteristics. And we can look at this like this is something that is external to us that we need to add to ourselves. And we can either look at that like we need to pray to God for these things that we don't have, or even worse, that somehow we have to work up something within ourselves to try to produce these things. And so the actual beginning of the verse says that for this reason, giving all diligence, or therefore giving all diligence. So what is the therefore? If we go back to the beginning of the chapter, it actually says that Jesus has already made us partakers of the divine nature, and that he's given us all things that pertain to life and godliness. So how does Jesus give gifts? Well, when it says in Romans that he ascended on high and led captivity captive and gave gifts to men. And so sometimes we look at that like there's still things that he needs to give us from heaven that we don't have. But if you look at what that's quoted from, it's quoted from Psalm 68. And in Psalm 68, that it says he ascended on high and led captivity captive and received gifts among men. So actually, Jesus, by virtue of the incarnation, God becoming human, he received everything that we need. It's all on the inside of us, and we already have these things on the inside. It's not anything extra that we need to do to get these things. Well, then why does it tell us to add these things? Well, again, let's look at the translation of the word add, which is a really short English word. In the Greek, it's actually a word of 3 different parts. It's called epikorageo. And so we're not going to focus on all 3 parts, but you almost hear the word epichorus or chorus right in the middle of this word. So actually the meaning of the word, it's almost like a chorus conductor or a choir conductor. And so it's telling us to become acquainted with these characteristics by faith that are already on the inside of us. We already have patience. We already have love. We already have brotherly kindness and virtue, and all of these things Jesus received into our humanity. So we, like chorus conductors or like music conductors, you want to make a musical piece by becoming acquainted with these things by faith, patience and virtue and brotherly kindness, and we make this kind of a masterpiece of music from the inside of us and start living this thing out. And the interesting thing is that a few scriptures later it says epikorageo in reference to Jesus, that Jesus, the great conductor, is also going to lead you into this symphony. And so when we start living from the inside out, we start co-creating a great masterpiece, a musical piece with Christ in our life. And that's really why it's so powerful, what we believe about ourselves and what we speak out about ourselves concerning ourselves. Because when we live from the inside out, we are so powerful, we become co-creators. And that can either be, for better or for worse. And so what God wants us to do is to know that we lack nothing, to know that we are complete in him, and that we already have all of these magnificent characteristics and virtue on the inside of us, and to by faith recognize that these things are on the inside of us and make a musical symphony with him by our lives, and basically start co-creating a reality, a new world with him. And that's really the power that we have as human beings made in the Imago Dei, that we are co-creators, and he wants us to make a beautiful musical symphony with him and start not only impacting and creating our world, but impacting and creating a new world out there. And so I just wanted to end with one of my favorite quotes by Francois Dutoit. He says that you cannot grow in completeness. You can only grow in awareness of your completeness. God bless.